guys, this is the Vicster once again, coming back for a little more DARVO fun. So if you haven't watched my other videos on DARVO, I was DARVO'd in my church by my longtime friend and mentor, spiritual father, and it has lit a fire in me to get more information for myself and to share that information with as many people as I can. Okay, DARVO, what does it stand for? Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. And I did some research and I found that it was first identified by a psychologist, Jennifer Freyd, in 1997. She was observing the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas trial. I don't know if you remember it. I do. I definitely do, because I'm that old. But she noticed patterns of behavior, and she did some further research and came up with this manipulation tactic. She's a professor at the University of Oregon. So this is used when a perpetrator of something is being accused of wrongdoing. They will deny, a lot of times vehemently deny, that they are guilty of this, and then they attack the credibility of the accuser. It's a psychological manipulation tactic to throw off accountability. How do they attack? One, a lot of times they suggest the accuser has some kind of problem. So in my case, this man suggested that even me bringing this topic up meant I had a psychological problem. It's a very common thing to see in DARVO. You're crazy. Why would you say that? This is made up. It's in your imagination. You have no idea what you're talking about. Two, they suggest that the accuser has a faulty memory. So the pastor, when he is employing DARVO, and I've received it multiple times, I just didn't know what it was in the past. Now I know. Suggests that your memory is faulty. I'll give you an example. My husband was asked to serve for this man in church doing the multimedia during the service. Okay, and he thought it was temporary. He wound up stuck doing this almost every week for 10 years. Finally spoke up, said how he was so unhappy and he wanted to do a different ministry. And the pastor said to him, "You're the one that asked me to do the media. What do you mean you're burned out? That's not my fault." Common tactic for a manipulator. Your memory's faulty. You're remembering this wrong. You called me. I didn't call you. You asked to do the media. I didn't ask you to do the media. Common tactic. Okay. Another one is to suggest the accuser is doing this for some kind of personal gain. You have a vendetta against me, obviously. You are trying to undermine my ministry. You're trying to ruin the church. You're trying to split the church. You're mad because you're not getting recognized. You want financial gain. Somehow financial gain from this. You're trying to make money from this. Blah, 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 blah. So that's the attack part. Okay, how does DARVO work? First of all, DARVO is a common response of perpetrators when they are confronted. Why do they do this? Why DARVO? Why not some other tactic? Because DARVO works really, really well. It works most of the time. And all they need is for it to work a little bit. And that's the in. That's the doubt. That's the seed that they're planting in the accuser for self-doubt and in the people that might find out about this. They just need a little bit of doubt, and they can work with that little bit and make it grow. There was an experiment done, I believe by Dr. Freyd, who was the first one to describe DARVO. I believe it was by her, but the source didn't specify, so I assumed it was her. If not, feel free to correct me in the comments. I would love to have clarification on this. So the experiment had subjects read statements made by perpetrators of domestic violence, people that absolutely were guilty of domestic violence, but they had to write a statement. Some of the statements took accountability for their wrongdoing. Some of them expressed remorse. Others, the statements were using DARVO techniques. They denied, they attacked the victim, they reversed victim and offender. The researchers found that it was clinically significant enough that when subjects read the statements using DARVO techniques, the readers were more likely to blame the victims and less likely to believe the abuse even ever took place. And so DARVO works. That's why they use it. And the best thing we can do is to educate ourselves on what it is. So when we see it, we know it and we can call it out. Okay, that's a little more on DARVO. That's some of my research. I'm going to be doing some more videos on how to counteract DARVO because I'm really fed up with abuse in church and it needs to end. And I'm doing my small itty bitty minuscule part by creating videos to help people to recognize it. That's it. Hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.